So, welcome back, everyone. So, let us begin. And we gather again in the name of love eternal, of love incarnate in the Christ, in us. In the Spirit of love, the Ruha, the Kucha, the Holy Spirit flowing into us and out from us into the world. So let us become aware again of our bodies, to be relaxed but alert, awake. And our minds are the thoughts rising and falling. And we're just noticing where our thoughts are and then letting them go. And our hearts, our emotions, just aware of how we feel at the moment. And with nothing there is right, there is not right or wrong. Just to, as Jesus said in the Garden of Gethsemane to the disciples, stay awake, watch and pray. Stay awake, watch and pray. One of the great tragedies of life is that we have this amazing creative power in our thought, certainly in our word, but in our thought. They're like living beings that go out into the world and can cause so much harm, and equally can cause so much good, which is what prayer is, perhaps. So we're watching ourselves, we're staying awake, and we're praying for awareness. So a breath that we can use to help us stay aware and present is a lovely breath called the mother's breath. And we just breathe out for the count of 7, pause for 1, hold the breath for 1, breathe in to the count of 7, hold for 1, out for 7, hold for 1, in for 7, hold for 1. So the 7 is perhaps matched with a heartbeat, so you may be aware of your heartbeat or your pulse. So maybe your in-breath matches 7 beats of your heart, and your out-breath the same. So in balancing the breath, our in-breath and our out-breath, we come into a balanced rhythm. And one of the things about our emotions, as you may have noticed, is that it changes our breath. We either breathe into longer than our in-breath, breathe in longer than our out-breath, we hold our breath, or any number of combinations depending on how we're feeling. So a very quick way and effective way to come to presence and awareness, and to come into a state of balance and centeredness is by just equalizing the in-breath and the out-breath, returning to the mother, if you like, of our being, the source of our being. So let's do that now. Feeling first for our heartbeat. And if 7 seems too many for you, a strain, then change it to 5 or 3, whatever is comfortable. So I'd like to tell you the next part of our story, of the Apostle Thomas's story. You may remember the princess has had written on his heart to go to Egypt and to collect the one pearl, his pearl, which is being guarded by a serpent. I left the east and travelled down, escorted by 2 guardians, for the way was dangerous and difficult, and I was very young to travel it. I passed through the borders of Maishan, the meeting place of the merchants of the East. I reached the land of Babel, and I entered the walls of Zarbug. I went down into Egypt, and my companions parted from me. I went straight to the serpent and dwelt in his abode, waiting until he should slumber and sleep, and I could take my pearl from him. I was alone there, though, and lonely, a stranger. However, I saw there a noble from the dawnland, a kinsman, a youth, fair and lovable, the son of oil sellers. He came and attached himself to me, and I made him my chosen companion, a comrade for sharing my wares with. He warned me against the Egyptians, and against consorting with the unclean, for I had dressed as they were, as they would guess that I had come to take the pearl, and they would rouse the serpent against me. Somehow, though, even though I had dressed like them, they did find out that I was not their countryman, and they tricked me into spending time and eating with them. I forgot that I was a son of kings, and I served their king. I forgot the pearl for which my parents had sent me, and the weight of their food sent me into a deep sleep. Years passed. But all these things that befell me, my parents perceived and were grieved for me. A proclamation was made in our kingdom that everyone should come to the gate of our kingdom, kings and princes of Parthia, and all the nobles of the East. They wove a plan on my behalf that I might not be left in Egypt. They wrote me a letter, and every noble signed his name to it. From your father, the King of Kings, and your mother, the Mistress of the East, Queen of the Dawnland, and from your brother, our second in authority. To you, our son, you who are in Egypt, greeting. Call to mind that you are a son of kings. See the slavery who you serve. Remember the pearl for which you were sent to Egypt. Think of your robe. Remember your splendid mantle, which you will wear and with which you shall be adorned when your name has been read out in the list of the valiant, and with your brother, our successor, you will be heir in our kingdom. My letter was surely a letter which the king had sealed with his own right hand to keep it from the wicked ones, the children of Babel, and from the savage demons of Zarbug. It flew in the form of an eagle, the king of all birds. It flew and alit beside me, and it became speech itself. At its voice and the sound of its rustle, I started and arose from my sleep. I took it up, and recognizing the hand of the king, I kissed it, and I began to read it. And according to what was traced already on my heart were the words of the letter. I remembered that I was the son of royal parents, and I became conscious of my nobility. I remembered the pearl for which I had been sent to Egypt. I began to charm him, that terrible, loud-breathing serpent. I hushed him asleep and lulled him into slumber, chanting the name of my father, the name of my brother, and of my mother, the Queen of the East. I snatched away the pearl and turned to go back to my father's house. Their unclean dress I stripped off and left it in their country, and I took my way straight to come to the light of our home in the East. So although we incarnate and forget time and time again, we also receive reminders time and time again. Remember who you are. Remember who you really are. Nobility, love, incarnated. So we're going to chant the serpent in our practice, as we've already been doing with Tim this morning. The chanting, the magic of the pipe and of the words. And so we continue now. To cause the ego self to slumber and sleep and to wake up, our essential self. So we'll begin with the practice that we've been using a bit in the SCM since Lent began, which is an adaptation of a Sufi practice, which is called remembrance. It's called zikr, and that means remembrance. So I'll just do that practice and then explain it briefly. It's movement and words. So we say there is no God but God. It's just really simple. There is no God. The first God has a small g. And this refers to the gods that we make of ourselves, our lives, our beliefs, our approaches, our race, our political party, or any habits that we've got. That's the first God. There is no God. The second God has a capital G, and this is the one God. So the words are, there is no God but God. There is no God but God. So we let go and let soften. We surrender our little gods, knowing that's what they are. And we affirm the one God, the unity. So let's take a moment to bring to mind in this the general attunement we have now of staying awake, a habit of being or doing or thinking that we'd like to change. That sometimes gets us into difficulties, perhaps. And we can spend more time on this later on between sessions, if you like. But just now, just see what arises. Maybe to do with anxiety or fear about something. So this is the little God that you can surrender. You can start to surrender in this practice. So the movement is a heaven movement. So there is no God is turning the head to the left. There is no to the right shoulder. There is no. It's like shaking the head. No. There is no. And then we raise the head. God, think for a moment of what you'd like to let go of. And then we bring the head down to the solar plexus, but we let it go. We surrender, but, and bring the head up. God, the one God. So it goes like this, and we can use the whole of our upper body rather than make it just a head movement. And we're chanting the serpent. Of our egos. There is no God, but God. 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 So as we make that turning movement, we are turning within, we're turning a direction of travel and turning it a different way, if you like. And we're also energetically creating a centrifugal force which voids the center. It throws out those small gods, if you like, out of the center where they're occupying territory where they shouldn't be. So let's just stay in this attunement for a while now. So bringing to mind this practice again. And all the time watching our inner process, our ego's commentary. Returning again and again to the breath, to the center. So let's just in thought now, breathing out, there is no God. On an out breath, breathing out, there is no God. And then breathing in, but continuing to breathe in God. And holding on God with a capital G, the unity of our being, affirming it as the king and queen and all the nobles did for the young prince. We affirm that this is who we really are. So breathing out, there is no God. Breathing in, but God. And holding, enjoying who we really are. So in your own time, we'll just complete that one that you're on. Jesus said in the usual version, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be you therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be you therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And Neil Douglas Clods, whose work we use quite often in translation from the Aramaic, the language that Jesus used, which, as we may know, has many levels of meaning metaphorically, which we don't pick up in our Western language. Translates this like this: I'm sending you out like a plant shoots out roots deep into the earth, opening a new channel for life to grow, to flow back and forth. You are going like sheep, with half-formed speech and the gentle message into the wolf pack of the world, the roar and murmur of hungry inner selves. So sometimes be subtle, like holy wisdom. Follow her spiral way like a snake. Weave back and forth, surprisingly. Gather all within your wake, excluding none, like the first mother of us all. Sometimes feel wisdom's passion. Fly straight to the beloved like a dove, moving all at once, clearly, obviously. Open your wings wholeheartedly, already at one with your goal. So we're going to pick up on some of the words in Aramaic. And these words are Hu Akima. So I haven't written them for you to see, which would have been helpful perhaps, but if you close your eyes for a moment and write them on the screen of your mind, I'll spell them. So Hu Hakima, that's H-U-H-A-K-I-M-A. Hu Hakima. Hu Hakima. This is holy wisdom. Hakim, Chochmah in Hebrew. Wa Tamima. So that's W-A. That means with or and. Tamima. This is T-A-M, Tam, I-M-A, Tamima. And this means that passionate, direct approach as a dove flying for the goal, for the oneness. So wisdom and also warmth and passion. Be wise as serpents and gentle as the dove. So there's a chant that goes with this, and if you'd like to join in when you're ready. Akima, Akima, what? Sorry, I haven't got it quite. Akima, Akima, Tamima, Tamima, Akima, Akima, Tamima, Akima, 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 Tamima, Tamima, Akima, Akima, Tamima, Akima, 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 Tamima, Akima. Akima, Akima, Tamima, Akima, 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 Tamima, Akima, 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 Tamima, Akima. So we can continue in a set chant. Hu ha kima, hu ha kima, wa tam mima, hu ha kima, hu ha kima, hu ha kima, wa tam mima, hu ha kima, hu ha kima, hu ha kima, wa ta mima, hu ha kima. So let us breathe in hu ha kima, breathing in holy wisdom, gathering up all parts of ourselves in a spiral way. And breathing out wa ta mima, the passionate, gentle dance of our intention for the beloved, for the unity of being. So I'd like to bring this session to an end with a poem by the Vietnamese Buddhist master Thich Nhat Hanh, who recently passed into his eternal state. And it's called Please Call Me by My True Names. Don't say that I will depart tomorrow. Even today I am still arriving. Look deeply. Every second I am arriving to be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with still fragile wings, learning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel hiding itself in a stone. I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that is alive. I am the mayfly metamorphosing on the surface of the river, and I am the bird that swoops down to swallow the mayfly. I am the frog swimming happily in the clear water of a pond, and I am the grass snake that silently feeds itself on the frog. I am the child in Uganda, all stick and bones, my legs as thin as bamboo sticks, and I am the arms merchant selling deadly weapons to Uganda. I am the 12-year-old girl, refugee on a small boat, who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. And I am the pirate, my heart not yet capable of seeing and loving. I am a member of a Politburo with plenty of power in my hands, and I am the man who has to pay his debt of blood to my people, dying slowly in a forced labor camp. My joy is like spring, so warm it makes flowers bloom all over the earth. My pain is like a river of tears, so vast it fills the 4 oceans. Please call me by my true names, so I can hear all my cries and my laughter at once, so I can see that my joy and my pain are one. Please call me by my true names, so I can wake up, and so the door of my heart can be left open, the door of compassion. So that's the end of this session. And now it is a period of time for your own self-reflection and practice in whatever way is right for you. I will send in a moment a document through to you with all those practices and readings on. And you will notice that in the chant, I don't think we'll have the recording just yet, will we, Tim? It's rather demanding.
Pretty much straight away. The first two are on. This I'll do straight away.
The first two are on already. Wow, thank you. So they're up on the website on the which page would that be? Sorry, can't hear you at the moment.
Retreats.
Retreat, fabulous, yeah. So you can listen or look at the documents, and we'll probably make quite a good job of that chant, which found with me a rather spiral way. So we look forward to seeing you again at 2:30, and we'll have another session. And sorry, I nearly forgot. We're inviting you to, if you'd like to make a garden. Sometimes it can be really helpful to actually embody the theme of the retreat, and it's completely voluntary. But if you would like to make some kind of garden, which could be made of moss and plants and a dish or something like that, or it could be some artwork, it could be a few lines of a poem which arise in you, or music, a movement. So if the retreat expresses itself through you in that way, then please give it free rein. And it's something which you may or may not like to share later on when we come back to speaking. So good practice, good retreat, and see you at 2:30.